Hello everybody and welcome to part 15 of What If Midoriya Found the Omnitrix. If you have missed any of the previous episodes, there will be a link in the description below and the annotation above. If you want the series to continue, you guys already know what to do. Quick reminder guys, I have a Discord server, link in the description below. In the previous episode, Midoriya told Bakugo everything about the Omnitrix and what had happened so far. After a small battle, of course. After that, the students spend the next few days preparing for the Provisional Hero License exam. 2 days before the actual exam, Midoriya goes to the Hero Support Lab, looking for a power loader. Midoriya knocks on the door saying, "Hello? Anyone in here?" Then an explosion is created, throwing someone to Midoriya's feet. Hatsume says, "Hello!" Midoriya says, "Hello? Is power loader here?" Hatsume gets up and goes back into the support lab. She answers, "Nope, he's busy dealing with someone else. But I'm sure whatever request you may have, one of my babies can satisfy your needs." Midoriya asks, "You have babies here?" Hatsume points at a pile of support items and says, "Right there!" And he says, "Oh, no, I'm not looking for any new support items." He pulls out the Omnitrix and says, "Actually, I've been having trouble with this thing. It is a stabilizer for my quirk, but lately it hasn't been working properly. I wondered if you could do anything to fix it." Hatsume looks at the device stunned, and she says, "That is such an elegant design." She grabs the Midoriya's wrist and pulls on it, getting it under a microscope to check it out. Hatsume marvels at the Omnitrix and says, "This is brilliantly made. How is it called? Who made it? I would love to learn from this person." Midoriya answers, "Well, this is called the Omnitrix. It was made by Asmongold. You probably never heard of him, and he doesn't take apprentices. If there's anything you can do to fix it," Hatsume starts laughing and says, "Of course not." Midoriya asks, "Why not?" Hatsume answers, "This thing is way too advanced for me. And I recognize many of them. I don't even recognize many of the materials. You should ask the guy who built it for help." Midoriya starts leaving and says, "Yeah, it's just very hard to get a hold of him." Midoriya spends the next 2 days training until the Provisional Hero License exam and upgrading his hero suit with some tools and weapons in case he's forced to fight without the Omnitrix. The day of the Provisional License exam arrives, and Class 1A goes to the National Dagobah Arena, the place where the exam is being held. The students step off the bus. Jiro says, I'm kind of nervous." Mineta says, "I wonder what they'll have us do. What if I can't get my license?" Aizawa crouches and says, "Mineta, don't ask if you can, say you will." Mineta says, "Right, sure, I so got this." Aizawa gets back up and says, "If you can pass this test and get your licenses, then you novice eggs will hatch into chicks. You'll be semi-pros. I expect your best." Kaminari says, "Alright! I can't wait to be a heroic chicken!" Kirishima says, "Let's yell the usual, you guys. On my mark, go plus!" And Inasa screams, "Ultra!" And they have the interaction with the other schools. In the exam hall, Mara, the Public Safety Commission representative, says, "Okay, let's get this exam thing over with. I'm from the Public Safety Commission. The name's Mara. I've been swamped lately and haven't gotten much rest. We're too short-staffed. I'm so tired. With that confession, I'll now begin orientation. So about the content of this license thing. There are 1,540 examinees competing in a free-for-all exercise or whatever we're calling it this year. See, we have a lot of pro heroes around, and since Stain was arrested, many people expressed doubts about the status of heroes in society. But when you really think about it, getting paid makes sense. If you're going to risk your life to save someone, why shouldn't you ask for a reward, huh? It's just the way the world works. Anyway, doesn't matter why you're in it. God, I need some coffee. We got too many heroes working together in the streets these days. Honestly, the time between when an incident begins and is resolved is ridiculously short. You'll be swept in this mess pretty soon, so those of you who don't have the speed will be tested here. The first 100 of you to fulfill the requirements will pass on to the second round. The students then start freaking out about how many slots there are. Yorosa says, there are over 1,500 people taking the test. I thought they said about half of us would pass. Mara gets up and says, yeah. The world can be pretty crappy. I suppose I should say something about luck. Anyway, here are the basic rules. And he proceeds to explain the rules. As he explains, Midoriya activates the scanning mode of the Omnitrix and he unlocks Armadrillo, Upchuck, and Terraspin. Because of the class 1, because of students that are around. The walls fall of the exam hall, Mara says. Anyway, I'm sure you all have some terrain you prefer over others. You all have 50 minutes to get yourself situated before the exam starts. Man, I'm so tired. Midoriya starts thinking, strategizing. He says, everyone, stay close together. We'll fight them as a group. Many people agree, but Bakugo says, yeah, right. This isn't a field trip, and leaves, being followed by Kirishima and Kaminari. Todoroki says, I'm going off on my own too. It's hard to use my power safely with a big group around. The class starts running away from the starter area. Midoriya says, I don't think it's a good idea for them to go off on their own like that. Ida asks, how come? Midoriya answers, think about it. Everyone already knows our quirks. Uraka asks, they did research? Midoriya says, the other schools probably already figured out the same way to win that I have. Keeping that in mind, it will probably end up being a battle between schools, and they'll probably end up ganging up against quirks that they already know. But we have an ace in the hole. Mineta asks, what is it? Midoriya says, you'll see. A horn sounds and a voice is heard saying, the first exercise will now begin. The other classes jump in to attack. Midoriya says, I knew it! Shindo from another school says, I've seen you on TV. And they throw the balls to eliminate Class 1A. The students start preparing to block the attacks. Midoriya smiles and hits the Omnitrix, turning into a new transformation of his Gravittack, getting the balls to swirl around them and throwing them back at where they came from. The students of Ketsubetsu Academy put their little plan into motion, throwing the balls through the ground. Jiro jumps in using her sonic abilities to destroy the ground, so the balls are forced to go above ground where Ashido destroys them. Midoriya says, Ida, Zero, get ready to restrain them with a combo move. Zero says, right. Midoriya uses Gravittack to move the 37 closest students towards them, pinning them to the ground. Ida grabs Zero's tape and using his reciprocal burst goes around pinning them all to the ground, restraining them. After they are all restrained, Midoriya switches to Prick, basically Argent's species from Ben 10, and uses his paralyzing darts to paralyze the rival students. The students that were around, including Shindo and his class, say this is a lost cause, and they leave to get points some other way. Midoriya turns back to normal and grabs the ball to eliminate one of the rival students, but before he can, the announcer says, the first student has already passed and he took down 200 others? Then the members of Class 1A that are present eliminate the students that they had pinned, passing to the next round with ease. Midoriya switches the Omnitrix to recharge. The students then head to the lounge area to rest up while the others finish the exercise. Bakugo's group and Todoroki end up passing as they do in the regular version of events. About an hour later, the second exercise is announced. It is a rescue exercise. Midoriya and Class 1A start going around helping people. Midoriya goes around using Accelerate, looking for people in need of help. He finds a child in a water current and turns to Ripjaws to get him out. He then takes him using Astrodactyl to the safe zone that had been set up. He then leaves again, finding someone strapped under a bunch of rubble. Midoriya turns into Wildvine and using his vines to move the rubble gets the old man that was trapped under it to safety. Midoriya says, "Everything is going to be alright, sir." Midoriya switches to Fasttrack and zooms the old man over to rescue zone. He helps out many more, using Lodestar to get a metal bridge off of someone and 4 arms to lift a collapsing building. He gets the 5th person he can to safety when Gang Orca decides to attack. Midoriya has a moment of conflict, not knowing whether he should go help other people or fight. He then decides helping should be priority and switches to Fast Track and goes in for an attack. Like helping fight the Gang Orca, I mean. Midoriya runs in, punching everyone of the henchmen, taking them out of the running. He quickly bundles them up using Fast Track. He switches to Snar-oh and restrains them. After that, he switches to Portaler, a non-canon alien that has the ability to open portals, and using him, he sends them to the other side of the arena, where they can do no harm. Midoriya then turns and sees Inasa and Todoroki not being able to make up their minds and bickering while fighting Gang Orca. Midoriya screaming, "Todoroki, what are you doing?" Midoriya switches to Brainstorm and shoots electricity, blasting Gang Orca. Midoriya says, "You two should be working together." Midoriya switches to Heatblast and shoots a fire Gang Orca, and right after that he hears tick, 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 pshh, and turns back into his regular self. Gang Orca says, "You packed quite a punch there, kid. It's sad to see that you have a time limit." Gang Orca goes in to attack Midoriya with a punch. Midoriya jumps in out of the way and rolls as to not hurt himself. Midoriya gets up and starts running while fiddling with the Omnitrix, being like, "Come on, work!" Gang Orca eventually corners Midoriya and is about to hit him, but his punch is blocked by a wall of ice. A gust of wind then moves Midoriya out of the way before a tornado of fire appears, blocking Gang Orca in place. Just at that moment, the announcer says, "The exercise has ended. The last civilian has been rescued." In a different part of the arena, Kirishima says, "Oh, so we were the ones to save the last guy." A while later, the results are shown. In this version of events, Midoriya got 95 points. Last 5 because of what happened towards the end. All of Class 1A passed except for Bakugo, who was missing 3 points. The next day in Paris, a portal opens and a man dressed in black and purple steps out looking for a special piece of an item. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, you know what to do. If you have any suggestions, you can always leave them in the comments below or on my Discord server. And until next time, have a nice day, everyone. Bye!